Hey everyone, this video, it's more for my family members, and that don't necessarily mean blood, if you guys know anything about me. But more for them than anybody else. You guys just get to enjoy the story. Now, I grew up, I was born in Nashville, Tennessee, which probably was the first couple of years of my life. And then we moved up to Indianapolis, Indiana, or Greenwood. Well, Indianapolis first and then into Greenwood. But for most of my childhood, I was raised around the Indy 500. Now, when I was in high school, and I'll tell you how far back this goes, um, the snake pit was basically just an open field. There was nothing inside the oval of the track. Now they would open up this inside the track. You could come in. They would fill it with campers, and a lot of people would, they'd bring in campers and trailers stacked with scaffolding. And back in the 70s, I spent a lot of time at that track, and there was times I even helped a little bit of the. I know if you guys had some scaffolding, but some of these crews, they brought in and they built stages basically above their motor homes, and where they could get up high in the middle of this track and practically film or watch the whole race as it goes around, unless somebody in front of them built a higher scaffold or a higher stand. But if you was right in the middle of that damn infield, and you was not standing on, or you wasn't up in the air on something, you probably wouldn't see much of the race at all, except on the banks. Because when they were down flat, you would not see them. So that's why, some people would come in and they would try to get over closer to the edges, and they would set up chairs and stuff up on top of their campers or whatever. But I spent a lot of my childhood going to that race. Now they did like they called it they had through the whole month of May, they had carburation day, they had tryouts, they had practices, they had all this stuff that the whole month of May, that these teams would be out there with their cars, either testing tires, breaking in tires. That was a lot of things. I don't know you guys that know anything about racing. They break in tires in order for a race day. They'll put a set of tires instead of having a brand new set. They'll run a set, a couple of laps around to rough them up or whatever to get, and they do these things. So they spend the whole month of May. Memorial weekend is when they run the race. So the whole month of May, they spend qualifying and all these different things. They have different. They do different things in order to bring people in and sell tickets to get people to come in and watch all the different, even practices and shit. It is, they got it's a 2.5 mile track, and these guys are traveling, especially if there's nobody out there and they're like going for time trials or position or whatever. Man, they could be running 230 plus miles an hour today. But back when I first started watching this shit, It was a big, big thing when they broke 200. Uh, Big thing in IndyCar. And they were, I can remember back when they were running and, these guys were hitting 170, 180 mile an hour. And we thought that was just screaming. And they would run a 500-mile race running at 170, 180 mile an hour. 5-6 hours, it'd be over, with cautions and shit. Shit, they can run that race today. If there ain't a whole bunch of cautions, they can run it in 2 hours or at 230 mile an hour, not 2 hours. But they can run it in about 3 if there ain't a bunch of wrecks. They can run that track even with a group at 200 plus miles an hour. So I was always into this shit, and even I'll tell you, it got to the point. Even our school knew so many of us was going to the track and this usually in May. That's the end of the year. The year's pretty much over. We're getting ready to be out for summer break and shit, and this damn race would come on, and we would go down to the track instead of go to school. And they would send teachers down to the track, because there would be so many kids missing that wouldn't show up to school that they would combine those kids into one class and then send the teachers that they had extra that didn't have no classes. They'd send them down to the track to take names. And they'd just go down, they'd pay for them to go get into the track and everything and walk around the infield and shit and all over the track. And if they saw anybody, they'd write their name down. They'd have to go to the office to get back into school the next time, What's the kind of shit they did to us, man? And they caught me down there many, many times. Believe me. This end zone of this at the Indy 500, this is back in the 70s, folks. Man, you go down in order to get in the end zone, it was pretty much so much per car or per camper or whatever. Depending on how much space your vehicle was taking up is what you paid for. Not really the amount of people, didn't matter. It was the amount of space your vehicle would take up, because the more they can cram in there, the more money they can make. And so we're waiting in this line one day to go down. It was probably carburation day or qualifications or practice or something. We didn't need they just had the track open. We'd go down there instead of go to school. And we're driving down. We're waiting in this big line going into the infield. And there's this big old fat. This guy had to be about probably 6'5", and he didn't have a shirt on. He looked like he had to be some kind. He was a biker. He was a biker. I didn't see him on a bike and around biker. He was walking right straight down the middle of the 2 lanes that were trying to go into that damn track, and he's already got couple of 6-packs in one arm, and he's drinking with his other hand, drinking a beer. But he's just walking back and forth between these 2 rows of cars, and he's such a big ass, mean looking son of a bitch that nobody's even questioning it. But he walks up to your car and says, "Hey, you guys got any beer you can give me?" These people, here you go. Here, they give him a 6-pack. And he's piling them up. I guess he's out there. He's walking down through there collecting them for his buddies. I say he looked like a biker, but I don't know if he was. I didn't see no bikers with him. I didn't see no bikes. He was walking down the middle of a line. As far as I know, he was by his damn self. But if he would have told me he was a Hells Angels, I'd have probably believed him. He's a big old boy, man. I would have gave him a 6-pack if I had it. I didn't have it. I gave him 2 of mine. But anyway, hell, he'd probably flip my car over if he wanted to. He was so fucking big. But we'd go down there and go to this track, man. And my mom worked for a company called Bryant Air Conditioning, and I've told this before in videos that I've talked about what the money my mom made back when I was a kid, folks. And she made pretty good money, let's just put it like that. But she worked for Bryant Air Conditioning in Plainfield, Indianapolis, or Plainfield, Indiana. It's outskirts of Indianapolis, and it was over by the airport in Indianapolis. And but the company she worked for sponsored a race car, an Indy 500 car. Let me tell you who was driving it. Now, before I tell you that, I'm going to tell you, because the company my mom worked for and the person that she worked under at Bryant Air Conditioning, they told her, "Look, we're going to do something special for you. We're going to invite you and your family down to meet the driver of our Indy 500 car." This was around that time of the year too, where all the other drivers were. We got to meet some other drivers and everything, but we got to go down to the track with my mom because of her job and meet the driver for the race car that their company had in the race, the Indy 500. I bet you there ain't a damn one of you can guess who that driver was. Hey, B. I'll give you a minute. Or no. B. People, it was Janet Guthrie. Janet Guthrie. Yes, I got to meet her. I got to sit in that damn race car that she drove in that race. First woman to ever, I think they said she even completed the race, but she was the first woman to ever race in the Indy 500. And that's who I got to, that's how I got to be a part of and get down there where the race car driver was, because of a woman race car driver. Not any of the men, man, I'm talking about back when A.J. Foyt, who were some of them other big time racers back then? Mario Andretti. I'm talking about back then when them guys were big time. That couldn't have been who I got to meet. Not for the company my mom worked for. It had to be the first woman to ever race in IndyCar racing. Now this shit, man, that racing shit, you guys got to understand, like I said, man, I grew up in the 60s and 70s. With the IndyCar, Indy racetrack being in town, not including all the other racetracks that they had around Indianapolis, you guys know we had to be racing what you guys call classic hot rods today. They were not classic hot rods, classic muscle cars back then. They were just cars. Your damn Camaros, your Firebirds, your damn Mustangs, and we're not talking this plastic shit you buy today, folks. Your damn Cudas, your damn Challengers, all original shit. Your damn Trans Ams, your damn, hell, we had people that had Alfa Romeos and fucking Volkswagens, Carmagillas and shit that were fast. we had got these damn cars. We pulling into high school, man. My friends are driving 69 to 72 Chevelles with 396s or, you know, Road Runners with 440 Magnums, 6-packs on them. They had Cudas with anywhere from a 383 to a 440. We had Challengers with some of the smallest one about a 360 Challenger, went up to 440s. There was a couple of Hemis running around, but mostly the Dodges were the 440s or the 383s. We had a lot of 318. Them damn 318s, people. That was a small block V8 that you could get a lot of power out of without doing a whole lot to it. And them 318s used to eat 350s all day long. I got into a lot of that racing shit. Man, we had a drag strip out in the country that it's still the straight strip of road it was, but it's no longer out in the country, man. This thing, it was cornfields and shit when we used to race out there. You wouldn't even recognize it today. There ain't even hardly a tree out there with all the concrete and blacktop and the buildings, and it ain't even nothing the same. But people I've been in, my cousin had 1970 Road Runner with a 440 6-pack in it. We were doing 150 mile an hour in it when we passed a cop. This damn cop, he came out. This is down in Tennessee, folks, down in the hills. We were on a 4-lane, they called it a 4-lane, but it's a freaking, basically an interstate, went up this valley. And my cousin said, man, I got to show you this. And I'm going, and now he's sitting there, he's got this fucking Road Runner. He's sitting there with a 1970 GTX, a badass. And they weren't even rich. They weren't rich, man. I don't know how this man, he's got about 3 or 4 years on me. My dad never bought me those kind of cars, but his dad bought him those kind of cars. But back when they were $2 or $3 grand brand new, you know. But we take this Road Runner. He's got this. It's a badass Road Runner 440 Magnum with a 6-pack on it. And he goes, I want to take you out there and show you something. I said, all right, let's go. Now, me and him's done some shit. Now, I might tell you a little bit if I got enough time. But we got in that damn Road Runner. And, I mean, we weren't using seat belts and shit back then. They were just usually tucked down in the seats or flopped around in the back seat. We didn't worry about them. But my cousin, man, he was a lot bigger than I am. And he's driving. We go down bottom of this hill where he lived up on the hill. We go down bottom of this hill and hit this 4-lane highway. And he goes, watch this, man. He goes, he points at the speedometer. He goes, you see, it registered 150 mile an hour, but it still went a little bit past the 150. He goes, watch, and he punched that damn thing down. Man, I'm digging for fucking seat belts. Because I'm telling you what, that 440 and them 3 2-barrels kicked in, man. We were fucking moving. And I'm watching this damn speedometer just basically do this over to 150 mile an hour. I'm looking for seat belts. And I even started looking and go, man, listen, we're past 150. It's already past 150 and still moving. I'm going, man, listen, front tire blows out, we're dead. I said, please slow this fucker down. He fucking, all of a sudden we look up, we go past a cop. He fucking, I look at him, he just stays in it. Now this fucking cop rolls out behind us, flips his lights, sirens, everything on. For all we could see, about a second it looked like. Then he flipped them off, turned around, went the other fucking way. He wasn't even going to try to catch us. But we passed him at 150. My cousin still got the damn ticket. He was the only motherfucker in town that owned a Hemi Orange 1970 Roadrunner. They knew who it was. He was the only one in town that owned one that was Hemi Orange. Probably the only one in town that owned one. So they sent the ticket to him in the mail. That's what they did. And they just said 100. You passed us at 100 mile an hour. We laughed because we knew how fast he was really going. Now this guy, to kind of give you an idea with me and my cousin, he had a damn 350 Honda. And they lived, like I said, they lived on the side of this mountain. And I'm telling you what, if it snowed, you didn't park up in their driveway because it was fucking steep. And unless you could drive up that damn driveway, chances are you parking down at the bottom of the hill and walking your ass up. You might not be able to do that. But he had gotten him this 350 Honda, and when he got it, I'd showed up over there, and he's going, man, we need to ride it. And it wasn't just a regular, it had an extended fork on it, so it wasn't a chopper, it was just extended forks on it, so it kind of had a little bit of length to the front end on it. And I'm going, man, let's ride this son of a bitch. Now, you either had to go down the driveway and out to the main road, or he had made a trail that went straight up this fucking hill and up and over the top, and there was a whole bunch of trails you could go ride back there. And this was a damn street bike. 350 Honda, the street bike, man. Street tires and everything on it. So me and him sitting there, we're bored and shit. We're like, man, we need to ride that motherfucker. And you can start it up and run it. The throttle cable was broke on it. So we took, he's going, man. He goes, hell, I can get on it. Do you think you can reach under it and work the throttle? I'm going, what? Yeah, I can probably do that. And he's going, well, if you think you can do that, you work the throttle. He goes, hell, I'll work the clutch, and drive it and everything, and we'll go ride this sumbitch around. I said, all right, well, let's look at this and see what it's going to take for me to work the throttle. Now, this sumbitch had 2 carburetors on it. So it wasn't like I could just reach down and work one throttle. I had to reach down around both sides and work 2 different throttles on 2 different carburetors. Well, people, we took that damn 350 Honda with no throttle, me being the throttle, my cousin driving, shifting gears and shit, and we went straight up the side of that fucking mountain. I'm giving it the gas and trying to hang on at the same time, but this is the kind of shit me and my cousin did, man. I was laughing my ass off telling somebody about that just the other day. We done some shit, man. We're some hillbillies. We want to have fun. We'll figure out a way to do it. But guys, that's enough for tonight. You guys have a good night out there. May God bless us all, because that's the only way out of this. Make no mistake. If you don't know who Jesus is, I beg you to look for him. Seek him, search for him. He'll show you everything you need to know. But you gotta look. You gotta look for him. So please look for him, folks. Do that for me. Laugh at my stupidity, but look for him for yourself. You guys have a good night out there. Till next time.